Hello, my dear friends, best greetings from Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. Today we start this new stream on this new day with new online streams. Okay, I switch on Go Live and hello, my dear friends, best greetings from Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. My name is Fursov. I am a research entomologist, scientist, beekeeper and teacher, and this is my channel, which you are familiar on. So welcome to join, welcome to watch it in recording mode after the words, or just if you are joining us, welcome to ask questions in the line on the right side of the screen. I cannot type my answers actually on telephone because it's recording, but I can type my answers or can just speak about it just if you write your questions in the right part of the screen on this video, because this is direct translation. Well, today this is video of entomologist in Ukraine. I am entomologist and I am in Ukraine, in Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. And you notice actually that I am speaking in English, not in Ukrainian, not in Russian. I stopped my speeches in Russian on my channel. Maybe I will repeat it partially, but nevertheless, I guess it's much better to speak English for international audience, which can talk with you, which can understand, can hear you in all 100 and more countries all around the world. If you do not understand English, that's not my problem, that's your problem. I do like to watch and listen and just following to different TV channels and YouTube channels with English movies, films, and I also subscribe to some interesting authors on YouTube to listen some interesting lectures. So I welcome you to subscribe on my channel, which is devoted to English language, which is devoted to English and explanation about insects, entomology, science about insects, science of nature, biology, and also about beekeeping, about how to keep effectively such insects as honeybees in beehives in Ukraine and worldwide, about different technology, new technologies in beekeeping which have been developed already in Ukraine and are used in Ukraine, and I am presenting it from time to time. And I am teaching you some different methods in entomology, in beekeeping, in my lectures, and also I'm showing on my channel different video stories which I recorded myself on my camera and uploaded just to present my view, my experience with different insects and different arthropods, tiny arthropods, small creatures, which I show you under the microscope, or maybe just in the nature, or just living creatures in some jars, in captivity, in a culture. Yesterday I was talking about cultures of insects which you can keep at home, so welcome to watch my previous video about cultures of insects at home. So of course I didn't tell you about all possible cultures of insects which you can keep at home, and I do not keep them so much because this is not my commercial activity. This is just activity for observations, for teaching, for educational purposes. That's why I presented some small cultures which I keep in now. Maybe some I will show you later. I didn't show some cultures for sure, little bit later. But this is a good opportunity to show these cultures online. Sometimes interesting to receive some back answers in comments and answer questions just directly online. If you type your question in English or in Russian or in Ukrainian, I can answer you just directly now online. Actually, it's about beekeeping. Also, if you are interested in beekeeping, I can show you some pictures and explain something about beekeeping. This is a book for children, but I got it because here there are some pretty good pictures, illustrations. This is a book of Polish author Peter Socha about beekeepers. So quite big pictures, easy to show them as illustrations if you're talking about beekeeping. because beekeeping is very popular in Ukraine, actually, to be beekeeper, like on this picture. Little bit funny, but this is just to attract attention and to talk about it in a humorous way. Ukraine is probably third or fifth place in the world regarding the number of collected honey from beekeeping farms, but at the present time actually this activity partially stopped because of war and invasion to Ukraine from the east. And here this book devoted the culture and also even some methodology about collecting honey, like here you see here this is a beehive. I have also some videos already recorded previously about terminology in beekeeping, so maybe I can use also this book to explain some terminology, like say this is a beekeeper, and this is a frame, this is a honey, this is jars, this is a beehive, here some wax, this is honey in the various wax, frame is done from wax, and some beekeeping tools which are used to clean beehive, to clean after from wax. And here, for example, different types of beehives, very interesting, and sophisticated house for honeybees, different. Here this one which do not have frames, so honeybees were making just their nest inside naturally, in natural way. This is a Wittwicki beehive. This is multi-storied beehive, Dadan beehive. So different types of beehives. So this is just with frames, usually used in Africa and also pretty often in Ukraine and other neighboring countries. Skeps. Here, where is his skeps? Here, this is skeps. This one, with honeybees making natural nest. And here some historical stories. Here stories about how beehives can be uploaded and somewhere in natural conditions. Here natural nests of honeybees in a hollow tree. So this is funny way, like a bear. And here some Africans collecting honey. Here about flowers, and here this is a way how honeybees were just moved using this trailer to some orchards, like almond orchards. These are almond orchards in California maybe. So for pollination, because honeybees are great pollinators of different flowers. And here about structure of honeybees beehive on just the nest with workers, and where here somewhere should be queen, probably drones, and this is of course a worker which is collecting for foragers collecting pollen and nectar, and all this. Also a lot of workers sitting here and bringing pollen for the nut larvae. So you can recognize pretty good illustrations, very big one here about honey, different types of honey. And this is a situation. If there is no honeybee, so there is nobody who can pollinate flowers. And this is a situation like in some places in China, when humans, were pollinating flowers of some fruit trees, not naturally with pollinators, with insects and honeybees, but artificially, just with small brush. So people are making this artificial pollination just with brush. Of course, this is a very careful activity and very stupid activity, because honeybees can do it much better and much more effectively. So, but this is a situation in case of disappearance of honeybees. But this is a good picture when beehives are kept somewhere on roofs of different buildings in cities. So the situation of urban beekeeping. Of course, we can say sometimes this honey cannot be so clean as collected somewhere in natural place like forest. But in some cities, there are very strict regulations about cars, petrol, so gas can be pretty clean, relatively clean. So, and there are some very wide parks in some cities, so where honeybees can go and can collect honey naturally from flowers, not only using sugar feeding inside beehives, because natural honey must be collected from flowers, not from a sugar or sugar liquid, which can be put sometimes by not very good beekeepers inside beehives to feed honeybees. So we will talk later about all details about honeybees using this picture, just and using this book for illustrations. You may say, what are entomologists and beekeepers doing? Okay, that's very clear. Beekeepers were working on the apiaries or beekeeping farms, and were doing everything possible to maintain beehives and maintain bee colonies, honeybee colonies, to keep them safely during winter time, during safely spring, summer and autumn time, to multiply the colonies, and then to receive better yield of honey in summertime, because collecting time for honey is approximately middle of August. But what about entomologists? Entomologists professionally doing everything possible, mostly scientists doing their publications. Their publications means publications, articles, papers, books, published in different journals and published as books. For example, in Ukraine we are publishing papers in Ukrainian Entomological Journal. Yes, this is journal published, which is publishing now in Ukraine, despite all this invasion and aggression to Ukraine. But we have enthusiastic entomology who are editors of this Ukrainian Entomological Journal, and who are collecting our articles, editing them, and then just these journals in this year probably printed only as electronic journal, but articles have been supplied. Previously we had 4 issues every year, but during the last year we collected only papers which were published in 1 issue. So probably because lack of or not sufficient amount of financial support for entomological journal, articles will be collected and published in 1 issue every year. So last 2022 was 1 issue, and maybe in 2023 will be also 1 issue somewhere in the end of the year. Hopefully I will make some reviews of papers which were published in the in this issue as soon as possible, as I get this electronic copy on my email and I will make a review. Oh, this is another journal, for example, Journal of American Entomological Society, which is called Transactions of American Entomological Society, which is, this society is kindly sending it to our library of Institute of Zoology of National Academy of Sciences, and entomologists publishing here different papers with illustrations, with photographs, definitely not, sometimes with pictures to emphasize some characters, morphological characters of insects, or to describe their biology and behavior. Some pictures here in this journal pretty big size, has a pretty big size and colorful, like these beetles. And this is head of beetles, the genitalia of beetles, longicorn beetles, the head of beetles. Yeah, these longicorn beetles. Some reviews of biology and trophical relations. And here, the story about chestnut gull wasp. Chestnut gull wasp of the family Taurimidae. Taurimucinensis, invasive species which came to Europe and even to North America from Southeast Asia and China. Many species just invasive in nature because of global distribution of different goods and plants, and new species becoming invasive, like giant hornet, which came also to North America near Washington state. Different pests sometimes easily distributed through different goods and during their transportation from one area to another area, and they can become invasive species in new areas. This is a journal of News of Lepidopterist Society, where this, you see here, celebrating Nabokov's century. So this is Entomologist, which is Vladimir Nabokov, who was just a writer, poetry man, and also he was entomologist and described several species and morphology and biology of blue butterflies of a family Lycinidae, very nice small sized butterflies. But also he is very famous because of his writings, written actually in English language mostly. You can recognize here on my back stage different entomophagous insects, and we published a book which is called Atlas of European Entomophagous Insects. Published them several years ago in our department of entomophagous insects and ecological principles of biological control. So these are insects which belong into calcid wasps, very tiny parasitic wasps, size about 1 to 3 millimeters size, very tiny body size, but they are very active biological control agents because they are parasitoids on different pests. Sucking pests like this family Encertidae or this family Pteromalidae. So this is very important to make correct identification of species, which is done by taxonomists in our department. And identification is very important because of these insects, parasitoids, which are with this and backstage, like here, different families of calcid wasps, were trophically connected with specific phytophagous wasps. And this is a family Eulophidae family. And this is again Eulophidae and Aphelinidae family, parasitoids of Aphelinidae sucking insects. And here some Tachinidae family, predaceous, parasitic and predaceous flies, which are active biological control agents controlling the number, the quantity of caterpillars of different pests in forests, in agriculture, natural conditions as well. And here, this is this small one. This is a trichogramma, egg parasitoids of different insects, mostly of Lepidoptera or butterflies and moths. Here again, tachinid flies, and here some ichneumonids, larval parasitoids of caterpillars. Here pupal parasitoids of pupa. Trichogramma, Pteromalus, and this is Nitella. Nitella, this is a genus name. So these species of parasitic wasps were widely used for biological control of insects. And also, there are some insects which are under the danger of disappearance. Yes, hello Dmitry, for joining us. Today we are talking about different insects, not in collection, but in publications. So I'm showing some publications, some papers, and we are talking about some articles and books in entomology, in directions of study entomological material. And also in Ukraine, some insects were just included in this Red Book of Ukraine, a Red Book of insects and animals, arthropods, different types of animals, including mammals, reptiles, amphibians, arthropods, invertebrates, which are in danger of disappearance because of ecological changes and shortage of environment and just warming conditions of weather and disappearance of ecological systems. So many species of insects included here. Also some snails, like these snails, or mollusks. You see, these are snakes. Some bats, not military bats. Natural, some birds. Well, then what's about insects? Yeah, and also some insects, like this big one, like these lovely bees, Xylocopa bees, or just carpet and bees, solitary bees, which are living in holes of stems of plants or in some old wood, making nests in old wood. Xylocopa violacea and Xylocopa valga, yes, two species. Many species of solitary wasps and bees. Statics, some parasitic species. Here some species of bumblebees. Hopefully we can talk about it in future videos, specifically about Red Book. Even some flies, like from this family. Acelidae family, these predaceous flies. Big one, a giant Acelid flies. This one as well. Big size and also should be under the protection, and they're under protection officially. But of course, nobody cannot talk to you precisely about natural environment, which is in danger because of human activities, and now many natural environmental places under destruction because of military activities in the southern and eastern areas of Ukraine, where some areas occupied and some steppe reservations also occupied, destroyed some steppe regions under control of occupants together with these insects, but we believe that Ukrainian army will take them back out of Ukraine. Here some parasitic wasps of this Megarrhiza falcata with very long ovipositor, which can be found even in Kyiv. I showed it on my channel. So Megarrhiza. So I did several videos during this summertime. Surprisingly, I found it on birch tree in city, just near my house, and I did very interesting observations because from time to time I observed the tree and found this Megarrhiza, several species. They will be identified by our specialist. The sooner the better. He is actually now at the present time in Western Ukraine. Not in Eastern, but in the Western, because he is a PhD, Doctor of Philosophy. Here are some Hymenoptera insects, Eurytomida. Here are some Pompilidae wasps. And here, just a bunch of very important pollinators, wild solitary bees. Including Eucera, Cubtalia, and many others. Approximately about 50 species of pollinators, 50 species of bees included here in this Red Book of Insects of Ukraine. Some species of bumblebees, Bombus pumarum, it's yellowish color, Armeniacus. So they're distributed precisely in the area of a steppe forestry region in the Kharkiv, Lugansk and Donetsk region of Donbass. So they're also suffering the situation of this war, because all these areas are just under the fire, and all environment and all people, all animals under the very frustrating situation, destructive situation. Not only people are dying during this military war situation, this aggression and this invasion, but also our beautiful entomological fauna and botanical flora are suffering because of this aggression, because all these protected insects, just many of them were living in the southern areas of steppe regions. Yes, contacting. Who is writing here about social net? Contacte. No. We are not using at the present moment Contacte, not Odnoklasniki. This is social web of our extremely aggressive neighbor, Contacte and Odnoklasniki. We use now Facebook, we use TikTok, we use Instagram and Twitter, and also YouTube channel with comments. Very easy. Do I speak Ukrainian language? Yes, for sure. But my channel at the present moment is about insects in English. So please, Sergey Ivanov. So I'm speaking in English, and it's internationally recognized language for all entomologists and beekeepers and teachers and students as well who can speak English. Not in this stream, maybe in other stream devoted to insects at home, specifically in Ukrainian. Yes, I will do it in Ukrainian, but this one will be for English-speaking audience and English-hearing audience. You can hear, you can listen to my speech and understand it press like, press like, put your fingers up in the comments. Now we have 2 or 3 followers, but some of can speak English as well, at least a little bit, So that's why I wrote some messages. Do you want to speak English? I hope so. Not only during some lessons in a school. Do you speak English? Do you like English? Are you afraid of honeybees? Do you like honey? If you like honey, you do not need to be afraid of honeybees. Why I wrote it? Just to attract your attention to the next message. That I have my email. Easy to show it rather than to search it somewhere else under the description of video. If you have any questions regarding insects, regarding entomology, regarding insects, honeybees, about beekeeping, or just about Ukraine and Kyiv, you can write your private message here. We can talk with you privately, either in Russian, Ukrainian, or English. Privately we can use this StreamYard channel, which can be private or can be public. Now this stream is public. I show you this on other channel as well. So you fancy gmail.com, so you can write your message and we can talk with you privately. What other questions you want? Nothing, no problem. Russian, English, or Ukrainian. Or we can use even another languages. I can use Google Translator. You can speak another language. But better if you can make your question in English. It will be easier to talk about it. Oh, very interesting comment. Here just one person, Sergey, wrote, I can speak to tell it aloud. I'm Ukrainian. Sergey wrote, I'm Ukrainian, but now I came to Ireland. And it's very important to learn English to work as a beekeeper. Very nice, very funny, very interesting, very enthusiastic and motivated person. Very good idea. So I like this can be useful for some people because I did several videos about terminology in beekeeping, so I will continue this stories about, because I have here some dictionary of beekeeping. This is English Ukrainian dictionary. Many words of terminology. So this is a good point to talk about it for wider audience, maybe with some clips, with some pictures. But it takes time to prepare this special presentation to show words in a bigger size. That's a good idea. So this is motivational comment to make some new presentation about terminology in beekeeping. But of course, the major point to learn English, to practice in it. Not only living in Russian or Ukrainian society, or family, or with friends, maybe with friends in a hostel, and speak only in your native language. Try to speak native language, not only in Ukrainian, but in English, so you can imagine yourself that you are already native speaking Irish. It sounds pretty good. It sounds lovely. British people say, really lovely. This is a lovely idea. Yes, we can speak in private email. Don't forget about my email. Write it like this. Here. So we can continue it in the next videos about beekeeping, about entomology, insects, and another arthropods. So thank you very much. Good luck. See you soon. And I'm going to drink a little bit tea after this speech. So it's a good idea to identify some interest of audience, even audience which are native speaking not in English, but Ukrainian. Can write some comments in English. This is a very good idea. But next time you say, I'm native speaking Irish, and it sounds very good. Or maybe you can move from Ireland maybe to Britain, to England, to Scotland, nobody knows, maybe to United States of America. This is a life, so I give you just promotion to be active and move forward for your goal, and don't forget to support your relatives and friends in Ukraine. Pushing like and sending some support to your friends, relatives, and maybe to Ukrainian army. Ukraine forever. Good luck and see you soon. Bye-bye. Ukraine forever. Don't forget about it.